scheduled format, 60 Roger and Burbank. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee. To Bill Handle himself. Don't message tuning in, but at 8:30, Bill will be here, starting to give some studio time to us as he phases in a full return to his show. It is recorded here in California and covering it, ABC News correspondent and Grammy-nominated beatboxer Alex Stone is here. Good morning. Give me a little of the beatboxing, please. It's the traffic feed. I'm serious. From the cover, you know. You're up there, and you gotta get That is fantastic. You're the only person I know of who could DJ a rave with no equipment, except one microphone.
Oh, you gotta love it, right?
Yeah. Hey, you gotta love this recall, too. So, what's going on? Yeah, so the polls just opened for those who are going to go and do it in person, who didn't weeks ago fill out their ballot. And this today, you know, you think about it, was almost a year after Gavin Newsom was caught up at the French Laundry in the Napa Valley and the height of the pandemic, telling everyone, do not gather, you've got to wear a mask. And then he was doing everything opposite. And today, Californians are going to decide if he has to go. And all of us who have been here in California through this, we all know that this started as a referendum on COVID, but it has spread to something much wider. And Democrats are making the argument, you really heard it last night in the final push that Newsom and President Biden made, that they're saying this is about preventing Trumpism in California, that they say that's what Larry Elder would bring to this state. And that has been their message because they know that is going to stick, that among Democrats, and Democrats are 2-1 over Republicans, number-wise in California, Republicans only 24% of the electorate here, that they know that is, that Trump is the anti of everything that Democrats believe, and that they can get traction with that. Trump losing by 30 points last year in California. And so really hammering home that message. Here is Newsom last night.
Trumpism will be defeated all across the United States of America because we're better than that.
And if you look at the polling numbers, Wayne, it does seem like that messaging has worked. You know, the best thing that appears, if the numbers are correct, and then we'll find out tonight, they're not believed to be all that accurate, the polling numbers in the recall polling that's gone on. But if they are, that the best thing that happened to Newsom was Larry Elder getting into this race. That month and a half ago, you had independents and some Democrats saying, yeah, we want change, and we'll go with a more moderate Republican or somebody else. But, you know, Kevin Faulconer, somebody along those lines. And then Larry Elder got in and gained popularity among Republicans. And then you had the independents and Democrats say, whoa, no way. That is way too far on the other side of getting rid of any COVID rules, of claiming systemic racism doesn't exist, that there shouldn't be a minimum wage. And Republicans seem to at this point, and we'll see again tonight, but seem to have lost their chance to get this recall because they swung so far toward Elder. But we've been talking to Newsom's campaign. They feel very confident tonight. Maybe the numbers will be wrong, and he'll be surprised, but they seem to feel very confident about the way it's going.
I want to follow up on one thing you said. Or whoever is saying that the polls may not be that accurate, are they saying this set of polls is less accurate than is typical for pre-election polls? Or is it just the general warning that, hey, sometimes polls aren't accurate?
These lessons were learned in 2003. Now, this is a very different race. California is very different. California is much more blue today than it was in 2003. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a very different candidate. He was much more middle of the road. A lot of Republicans see him as a Democrat. You think climate change and everything else. A lot of Democrats didn't like Gray Davis, but the polling was not very accurate then. It's not very accurate now because nobody knows who's actually going to vote. That we don't know how many people are going to show up. Pollsters don't know how many people are going to show up today. A little over 8 million ballots have been returned via mail. Are there more coming in? Maybe, maybe not. Nobody knows what the turnout is going to be. And typically, we know expected turnout going into an election. So likely voters doesn't really mean a whole lot because we don't know who is a likely voter based on, are they enthusiastic enough to return that ballot or to walk in and do it today. So pollsters have said these numbers are general. They could swing by double digits either way. Newsom could run away with an even bigger lead today, or that lead could really go down. But he, at this point, 15, 20 points going into today, it seems like he's pretty solid. If you look at Larry Elder's website, they already have a form up that is calling on the legislature to investigate the twisted results of the 2021 recall election of Governor Gavin Newsom. If you're already claiming that these were twisted results, that's not a good sign going into tonight that Elder's campaign thinks that they're going to walk away with this.
Is Newsom doing any positive campaigning? By that I mean, is he doing anything where he's touting his great accomplishments, or is this all anti-Elder?
Well, I mean, he's doing a lot of anti-Elder, but he's also claiming that what he has done has worked. And you heard Biden saying that last night, that they believe that the measures that he has put into place, that this is about public health, and that if you don't vote for Newsom, that California is going to become Texas and Florida, and that then COVID numbers will go wild, and that people will be in danger. So Newsom and Biden and other Democrats, heard Kamala Harris say it last week, that they believe that what he has done has saved lives in California, and they're really focused on that aspect of it, of COVID, since this did begin as really a referendum on COVID. But it goes beyond that. And, when it comes to crime and whatnot, that's going to be hard for him to fight back on. Crime numbers have been up. Yeah, homeless numbers are up. But COVID is one thing that among Democrats, they believe that Gavin Newsom has been a leader on, that he has done well. The first stay-at-home orders in the country coming from Gavin Newsom. So he's really focused on that. And then on the negative side, said, look, if you go with Larry Elder, California will become like Texas when it comes to abortion laws, with, all these different things that they're kind of putting the negatives on that. And the messaging, at least the campaign behind Newsom, whoever's been telling them that to focus on these things, it does seem to work because the numbers have definitely been swinging in the last month very much on his side compared to what we saw a month and a half ago.
All right, and polls close at 8 o'clock local time, and we'll probably know something by midnight given the amount of
just a word of warning on the numbers coming in. What we're expecting is the first numbers coming in will be very blue. Those are going to be the mail-in ballots. The Democrats have been telling their supporters to mail in. Then later in the night, overnight, and probably the wee hours of tomorrow morning, will be those who vote in person today. Those will be red most likely, so it'll swing a little bit back more toward Elder. And then in the coming days will be those who voted today by mail, and those will probably go blue again being mail. So we're told it'll probably be blue, red, blue. And we saw this during the election last year as well for Trump, that initially it looked, wow, look at these runaway numbers. And then it went back toward the red, and we're probably going to see that tonight.
All right, great. Alex, thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks,
All right, talk to you again. Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent. When we come back, Dr. Jim Keeney is here. When hospitals have no more beds, how do they decide who gets the treatment? It's KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Pro-choice activists gathered outside Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's house in Maryland last night. They were protesting as part of the court's decision not to block Texas's new abortion law. Rapper Nicki Minaj says she'll get vaccinated against COVID-19 once she's done enough research. She didn't go to last night's Met Gala because of the vaccine mandate. She also missed Sunday's MTV Music Awards because she tested positive while preparing for the show. And viewers turning in to watch Jeopardy will see episodes taped by former host Mike Richards this week. Before he was fired, he was the former executive producer for the show and was supposed to replace Alex Trebek, but was later let go from the position after allegations of poor workplace behavior and questionable comments. We'll take a look at your drive on the 10 with BKFI in the Sky next.
The most important financial decision you'll make isn't picking the next hot stock or fund manager. It's choosing the right financial advisor. How do you pick the advisor that's right for you? Find out in a special encore presentation of our virtual event with Rick Edelman today at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. It's free. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. You'll get advice on how to select the right financial advisor, and you'll get a list of the 11 questions to ask before hiring one. Take this list with you when you interview financial advisors, and if you already have one, use the checklist to evaluate if they are right for you. You will get all the information you need, and Rick will make it fun and entertaining. It's free, so register right now for a special encore presentation of our virtual event today at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. That's EdelmanFinancialEngines.com.
Hitting speed bumps in your hiring process? Streamline your route to hired with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates, all in the same place. Find your next great hire and visit Indeed.com/credit.
SoCal weather from KFI, partly cloudy today and cooler with highs just from the upper 60s to the low 90s. This report is brought to you by Indeed.com. We'll take a look at your drive on the 10.
You betcha. Santa Monica Freeway, section on 10, and we're talking about going through Mid-City, LA. The slowest section, really, is from about Vermont down to about La Brea. If you're new to Los Angeles, believe it or not, this is kind of normal, so it's not too bad. Eastbound drive is good, really. Coming off PCH, East LA interchange, no problems at all. Big problem now. This is something else that can make you late in Compton, getting to Compton, actually. Westbound 91 in between Santa Fe and Alameda, motorcyclist down, driver of a car, they've all tangled. The westbound 91 is becoming stop and stop going away from Downey. That's about the halfway point between the 605 and the 710, getting serious. And going through Montclair, the 10 is just in big trouble both directions. First, East 10 at Indian Hill, there's been a crash there, maybe a fuel spill. And westbound at White, there's been another crash there, so it's just backed up in both directions, really. And the 6210 kind of busy as well. More on those coming up. KFI in the sky gets you there faster. I'm Jeff Bob.
This report is sponsored by injury attorney superwomansuperlawyer.com.
I'm injury attorney Miriam Parna. When it comes to car accidents, insurance companies will try anything to deny your claim. Call me, 800-800-6916. Superwoman, superlawyer, superwomansuperlawyer.com.
Hey Californians, it's here. Election day is today. Your vote today can impact the California gubernatorial recall election. So vote and be heard. Vote in person or use your mail-in ballot and drop it at a secure Dropbox location in your community. Find out more at vote.ca.gov. That's vote.ca.gov. A message from the California Secretary of State.
Take a look at your legs. Are your veins twisty, bulging, painful, and embarrassing? West Medical offers the latest minimally invasive solutions to erase varicose veins fast. Varicose veins are caused by broken valves, and they don't heal on their own, so don't wait. Call 1-800-WEST-MED for a private consultation. Treatments are covered by most PPO insurance, and they also offer great financing. Call 1-800-WEST-MED or visit westmedical.com today.
I feel incredible because I call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Income-eligible renters impacted by COVID-19 can now get 100% of their past due rent and utility bills paid through the California COVID-19 Rent Relief Program. Landlords with tenants who haven't paid rent because of COVID-19 are eligible for 100% reimbursement too. The application is fast, your information is private, and you won't be asked about citizenship. Apply at housingiskey.com before eviction protections end on September 30th. Brought to you by the California Department of Housing and Community Development.
California, the time is now. Election day is Tuesday, and if you don't vote in this recall, one thing is certain, we will have 5 more years of Gavin Newsom. Mail your ballot or head to the polls and vote yes to recall Gavin Newsom. This recall election isn't about red or blue, Republican or Democrat. It's about all of us. Newsom's failures affect every Californian. Record homelessness, skyrocketing crime rates, surging prices, and families struggling to make ends meet. Our governor works with Sacramento special interests to protect them while the rest of us suffer. We can't afford 5 more years of the same. We can't afford 5 more years of Gavin Newsom. We have the power to take back control. Mail your ballot or head to the polls and vote yes to recall Gavin Newsom this Tuesday. Paid for by Rescue California to support the recall of Gavin Newsom. Committee major funding by Jesse Powell II, Prop 39 LLC, and Lincoln Club of Orange County Issues PAC to support the recall of Gavin Newsom 2021.
So you love those Solar Max panels, right?
I write Valentine's Day cards to my solar panels even when it's not Valentine's Day.
Meant to be together?
Absolutely. SolarMax has a brand new offer as well. They have the new Tesla 420 panels and power walls for $79.96 per month and $0 down.
Call pound 250 from your cell phone, say that keyword SolarMax, pound 250, say SolarMax, or go to solarmaxtech.com.
Monthly payment available on approved credit. See SLB number 972048.
Attention homeowners. Interactive Mortgage has dropped rates again to a rock bottom 1.75% rate in APR. Yes, it's incredible. A rock bottom 1.75%. And if that's not enough, Interactive Mortgage will even pay your title, escrow, and appraisal fees. That's right. No points and no fees. Absolutely zero. Zilch. None. So what are you waiting for? Call now and take advantage of these never-before-offered rates. A 1.75% rate in APR with no fees whatsoever. Call Interactive Mortgage now at 844-371-CASH. That's 844-371-CASH. 844-371-2274. Or visit interactivemortgage.com. Wing Point Corporation, DBA Interactive Mortgage. Equal housing limit. Terms and conditions apply. New clients only. Loan amount $300,000 to $548,250. Minimum FICO of 740 and maximum LTV of 60%. All loans subject to underwriting approval, and not all applicants will qualify. Loans made or arranged pursuant to California Finance Law License number 603F938. NMLS number 302352.
I'm attorney Darren Kavanoki from 1-800-NO-CUFFS. Can you do the alphabet backwards? Z, Y, X, W, V. Yeah, try doing that by the side of the road. So if you get pulled over, don't wing it. Call us at 1-800-NO-CUFFS.
She has no particular drive or smart. She's living on the planet, but there's really no purpose to her. And there's a lot of people like that. They don't have any interest. They're just reassessing their choices. Yeah. You know what? My parents went through the Depression and World War II. They didn't have time to reassess their choices. They had to go to work. John and Ken, weekdays at 2. I never heard him once go, I don't think I'm being fulfilled right now. On KFI.
You're talking Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's the Bill Handel Show. Wayne Resnick sitting in. We have Dr. Jim Keeney with us, co-director of the ER at Mission Hospital in Mission Viejo. Good morning, Dr. Jim.
Morning, Wayne.
I want to hit these a little bit out of order for timing purposes, so if you don't mind, let's get right to this question. It is flu shot season, and also some people are getting COVID booster shots. Can a person get both at the same time, or are we flirting with disaster with too many vaccines at once?
No, I mean, we give multiple vaccines all the time, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. And the official word from the CDC is that you can get both at the same time. I would think, though, if you had any significant reaction to the COVID vaccine, or if you had significant reactions to the flu shots before, I would separate them. I mean, just to give yourself a break, and especially to know, if you're having a bad reaction, which one it might be to. But for the majority of people, no, they can just go in, make it easy, just get 2 shots all at one time and get it over with.
All right. Is there a limit on how many vaccines? What if I'm getting a booster and a flu shot, and it just happens to be 10 years since my last tetanus shot? Do we do all 3?
Yeah, you can get all that. I mean, your immune system is tackling multiple infectious potentials all over your body constantly. I mean, looking 3 different directions is not going to be too tough for your immune system.
All right. Now, let me ask you something about, you said if, somebody has complications. The most common side effect is soreness in the arm. And I want to ask you something about the soreness in the arm thing, because I just got a flu shot. And when the needle, first of all, I'm not afraid of shots at all, so I don't have any anxiety. So when the needle went in, I barely felt that anything was happening. But then there was a momentary, pretty significant, pinching, burning, it was not fun, feeling, which I took to mean, was that the vaccine going into the arm and causing that momentary discomfort? Or was it just a delayed reaction to the needle going in?
No, probably, yeah. So this is what I see is a lot of things that I inject, it's not the needle that hurts. Especially like lidocaine, when we're numbing up an area to do stitches or something, the needle people barely feel at all. It's the material that you're injecting that they really wince and it hurts. That's not typically true for the material of the vaccines, like a flu vaccine. But I mean, think about it. We're blindly injecting a needle into a muscle. We choose a muscle because there's not a lot of delicate structures there that could hurt or cause injury to something significant. But there are nerves in there, and so if you land the needle right next to a nerve just by bad luck, then that can happen, and it can hurt a little bit more than other years just out of random chance.
All right, that makes some sense. So listen, we're going to get a news update from Jennifer Jones-Lee, and then when we come back, I'm going to ask you the tough question that I imagine you could find yourself dealing with for real, since you, of course, run an emergency room, and that is, we're hearing stories of some hospitals are so full that they're going to crisis management mode, which is another way of saying rationing of care. So I'm going to ask you about how doctors decide who can get treated and who they're not going to treat when the hospital's too full. This is KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Voicing his support for recall of Governor Newsom, Garcetti told reporters yesterday that he's voted against the recall.
I certainly will say this. I've worked with a governor who made the hardest decisions of his life and who has led this state with inspiration and protecting our lives. I'm grateful for that.
Garcetti's encouraging everyone to get out and vote today. News is brought to you by Mike Diamond, the Smell Good Plumber. LA has a new department open for business.
The ribbon was cut at LA's new Civil Human Rights and Equity Department. The grand opening event was scaled down when protesters showed up and voiced their opposition to Mayor Garcetti and others.
I'll be very, very brief, because while some are yelling, we're going to be doing.
Capri Maddox is leading the new department, which, among other actions, will investigate discrimination complaints.
Discrimination happens in many places, but particularly in commerce, education, employment, and housing.
Blake Trolley, KFI News.
A man from Oceanside has been charged with having illegal weapons near the headquarters in Washington, D.C. of the Democratic National Committee. ABC's Faith Abube says a U.S. Capitol police officer saw a pickup parked around midnight near the DNC HQ.
They say the truck had white supremacist symbols painted on it and an American flag where there should be a license plate. Police say the officer pulled the driver over and found multiple illegal knives in the truck.
That included a bayonet and machete. Officers say the man told them he was on patrol and started talking about his white supremacist ideology. Police in D.C. say there will be several security measures in place for a rally this weekend. The rally's pushing for the charges to be dropped against nearly 600 people accused of attacking the Capitol in January. Capitol Police Chief Thomas Manger says all officers will be on duty and the climb-proof fencing will be reinstalled as a safety precaution.
The fence will go up a day or two before, and if everything goes well, it'll come down very soon after.
Manger says a new surveillance system on loan from the Army will also be in use this weekend. Medical experts say numbers for COVID-19 infections among kids are still much higher than normal. The American Academy of Pediatrics says there have been more than 240,000 new cases among kids just over the past week. The number is actually a decrease of about 10,000 cases from the week before. The Biden administration says nearly $64 million in humanitarian help is being sent to Afghanistan. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told members of Congress yesterday it's important to help Afghanistan move forward even though the U.S. is not to blame for the Taliban taking over.
There's no evidence that staying longer would have made the Afghan security forces or the Afghan government any more resilient or self-sustaining.
Blinken says the money will go to non-governmental organizations and the UN agencies so the Taliban won't have to access it. We're watching your drive on the 60.
Yeah, a little bit of good news now. Leaving Riverside, finally. My goodness, have you just shown us kind of a long playing problem. Westbound 60 at Valley Way has cleared. There's still some activity on the shoulder, though. The long playing cleared. It happened at 5:30 this morning. That's what it was all about. So The West 60 is still kind of slow coming away from the 215.91, but pretty much good news. Now, not so good for the drive-through Montclair now. First, we'll start with the eastbound 10 at Indian Hill. There was a crash and a resulting spill that has the eastbound 10 slow from about White Avenue. And then westbound at 10, another long plane crash. It's still clearing, but slow coming away from 4th. And some real serious problems now getting into Compton. Westbound 91, Santa Fe, Alameda, west of the 710. Motorcyclist, driver of a car there, tangled, there's a lot going on. Now, the westbound 91 is just about backed up to the 605. That's pretty serious. Ortiz Boulevard, Alondra, they'll get you through. KFI in the sky, gets you there faster. I'm Jeff Bob.
Termites love Southern California, and there are two kinds of termite seasons here. One, well, it's here all year long, and two, it's really termite season, and that's what's going on right now. If you see those little bugs flying around or what looks like small pieces of sawdust on the floor, termites. And I'm going to suggest you call Pacific Coast Termite for a free home inspection. Now, certain restrictions apply. When you use Pacific Coast Termite, no tenting, no double bagging your food, no pet sitting. I've tented before. It is a nightmare. You do not want to go there. You can actually be home while Pacific Coast Termite does its work. Try doing that with a tent over your house. Mention KFI, get 10% off termite treatments, 2-year guarantee on their work. Call 800-PACIFIC, 800-PACIFIC. Visit PacificCoastTermite.com.
Pacific Coast Termite kills termites
The clean, friendly way.
SoCal weather from KFI, mostly sunny today with highs upper 60s to low 70s at the beaches, low to mid 80s for Metro LA and OC, upper 80s to right around 90 for the valleys and the IE. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee.
I am one of thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC,
which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body. I am living in the moment and taking Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR positive, HER2 negative